Hey, what's up? In this video, I'm going to show you how to screen for stocks using the stock screener on StockPenguins.com. Okay, so this is more an instructional video and I'm just going to show you how to use the tool here. So in order to access the stock screener, you just come into the left tab over here and then you'll be greeted by a bunch of filters. On the right hand side, you can collapse this entire thing if you just want to see the stocks, and then you can expand it once again to see the filters. The filters are based on different criteria, so if you want to see all of the filters at one time, if you want to see the basic metrics, if you want to see valuation metrics, financial metrics, growth metrics, dividend metrics, historical valuation metrics, you can basically do this. In this video, I'm going to open up the all metrics because it's easier to see basic everything at one shot. And every time you are screening for stocks, you're trying to find stuff, companies to invest in that will grow over time, right? So your criteria matters. Okay, so for example, you may have a different investment portfolio horizon than me. You may have different preferences. So personally, for me, I am a growth-oriented investor. I like companies that grow very fast, that are profitable, and I could potentially double, triple, or 5x my money, right? Or I can even 10x my money, right? So there's a bunch of criteria based on the metrics that you can basically look for. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that now. So for example, in general, I like to invest in smaller companies. So I would select something like a market cap that's a bit smaller. So I'm quite comfortable with the $2 billion to $10 billion range right over here. So I'm selecting mid cap right here. All right. I also want to see an average revenue growth over the past 5 years. So I like to see that revenue grows at least 10%. All right. I want to see operating margin at maybe over 25%. All right. And I want to see the net profit margin, right? So I do want to see that the company is profitable. I don't need it to be a very high profit margin, but I do want to see it being profitable, right? So I put a positive net profit right here, right? And I'm not very particular about the industry, but if you are, you can choose any industry as well. All right. And lastly, maybe two other things. I like to see a very high gross margin business because it just means that there are good unit economics here. So it's over 70%, for example. And then net income growth quarter over quarter. I do want to see this being positive. So I'll just put positive right here, right? And based on my metrics, generally you can find quite good companies already. So let me just apply the filter right here. So after I apply the filter, there should be a bunch of companies that are interesting to me. And then I can go ahead and do research on it, right? Besides that, for example, if I really like these filters, right? So I want to save these filters. What I want to do is I press save preset. Okay. And I'm going to call it fast growing companies. And I call it profitable. All right. So I'm just going to save it right here. Okay. The app is going to save it and it's going to save it to my account. So you can see preset is saved successfully. If I go over here, I can see that I have a bunch of saved presets in the past. All right. So because I'm on the investor yearly plan, I'm on the highest plan at this point in time, I can basically save as many presets as I want. And you can see here, for example, in the past, I created a previous real estate preset. And I can see, yeah, this is my real estate preset. If I want to go back to fast growing companies, I'm just going to go ahead and do this as well. All right. So for example, let's move on. Let me go and find another filter. All right. So I'm just going to clear all first on the right hand side. So I'm going to remove all the filters. Right. And now I'm going to look for companies that are in the real estate space, for example. Okay, maybe let's try a healthcare company, healthcare industry. All right. So I'm just going to go into healthcare. Let me try to find healthcare, maybe medical devices. Right. And I'm just trying to look for companies that are profitable. All right. So where is the profit? Revenue, net profit margin. So I'm just going to look at a positive net profit. Okay, so I just want to look at companies in the medical devices field and they just are profitable. All right, so I'm just going to save this preset one time. I'm just going to call it medical devices and then I'm just going to call it profitable, save. All right, and I'm going to apply the filter as well. All right, so you can see here, after I apply the filter, then it scrubs our database and then it will just show you all of the companies that are basically within this range, right? So these are all medical devices companies, right? So Boston Scientific over here, Steris, Biomed, Shockwave, Bruker. I believe they do microscopes and stuff. Yeah, okay. And you can see here, like it gives you a bunch of stuff. And it really narrows down your research process so that you're able to actually find the companies that you actually want to find. All right. On the right hand side over here, there's a columns tab. So the columns tab is interesting because if you wanted additional data, or according to whatever you have screened for. So for example, you do care about revenue growth, you're going to add revenue growth here. And then there's a tab revenue growth that comes out, right? If you care about net profit margin, right, you're going to put it in over here as well, right? And over here, if I press, it's going to go into descending, ascending, etc. All right. If I want to remove it, I can remove revenue growth. I can remove net profit margin as well. All right. So you can see over this, you can just descending, ascending, descending, ascending. Price, for example, right? Dividend yield as well. Okay, so these are the highest dividend yield medical devices company that have a positive free cash flow or basically profits. Yeah. All right. And then at the bottom, you can see if you want to, if there are a lot of companies, if there are a ton of companies, right? I'm just going to change it to 100. I'm able to see all of the companies at one shot. All right. If there are multiple pages as well, then I'm just gonna move along the pages at the same time, right? So if I move it to 25 over here, and then if there are multiple pages, I can just scrub through the pages as well. All right. So you can see a stock screener. Why it is important is because over time, some companies may fall out of your presets, and it's important, right? If you are researching multiple companies, to basically look at the different presets of different companies, right? And sometimes your metrics, your filters may change, and sometimes your research philosophy changes as well. So you can potentially research different things, and the data will always be up to date as well. All right. So for example, if let me give just one more filter. So it's I guess something that everyone understands. If I go into big companies, right? So I'm just gonna go into mega cap right here, and I'm gonna save the preset, and I'm gonna put like more than 200 bill market cap. So this is my preset for very big companies, basically. Okay, and these are mostly the companies that most people know about, right? So let me just shift it to market cap right here. Yeah, so you can see over here market cap, and then I'm just gonna shift it to my 200 billion market cap, and these are all the biggest companies in the world. So you can see Amazon, Microsoft, etc. Right? Okay, so after you've applied your filter, and you actually want to go and research into these specific companies, right? So, for example, everyone knows an Apple, a Microsoft, a Google, for example, right? But for example, you do have no idea who or what Danaher is, right? So what you want to do is you want to right click. You can just press left click, and then it'll go into the company's financials, right? So it will go directly into the company's financials, and then you can go ahead and do research as well, all right? So that's basically it. That's how you use the stock screener to find your stocks. Yeah. And generally, of course, depending on your risk criteria and different stuff, you just got to filter the companies that you want. All right.